Good morning and welcome to day 112. As you can see, I've gotten a bit of an early start today. Doing a little night hiking. Kind of spooky, right? Rustling up the birds. Let's hope that's all that's here to rustle up. So why am I up this early? Well, yesterday at the end of the day, we were pushing towards the Brown Mountain Shelter. And this was the last water for something like 10 miles or so. And everybody was going to go to a camp about 4 miles past the shelter. So everybody needed to carry a full water for 4 miles to do a dry camp, and then be able to make the next morning's water after that. Unfortunately, what's happened now is that we have reconnected. I didn't mean to say unfortunately, that sounds bad. But we've reconnected with a lot of the people that were hiking around us prior to getting to Ashland. And that makes for a bit of a crowded trail, a bit of a bubble. And unfortunately, so far, Oregon is following the pattern in NorCal, where there just aren't that many campsites. And so all of a sudden you've got a dozen people heading for a site that only, will hold 5 tents or something like that. What makes it more complicated is that more groups are joining us because the fires that I escaped down in the Belden Old Station Bernie area has caused a lot of hikers to skip up here. They had no choice. It's a good decision. I mean, the air was just full of smoke. It wasn't much of a decision to make, really. So most of them probably headed up to Etna or straight up to Ashland. And now they're joining us in the competition for sites. It's kind of unfortunate that there are so few. This is probably a yearly occurrence with the fires. People are always grouping up and, creating little clots of hikers. So that's just the way it is. Anyway, myself and a bunch of hikers made it to the Brown Mountain Shelter. We're getting our water from this big old-fashioned pump. Sandstorm showed up, but Sandman didn't, because he was probably listening to his book and he walked right past the sign. So because I didn't really want to worry about getting a good campsite, and the extra 4 miles ahead didn't seem that big of a deal, I just elected to stay at the shelter. The shelter's a nice little cabin. It is like a winter shelter. There's not much in it, except for a couple cans of dog food. That's survival right there, isn't it? But there was a lot of really nice tent sites around the shelters, and I just thought it was a perfect place to stay. Instead of having to worry, instead of having to carry all that water and deal with dry camping. And dry camping means that you don't have a water source at camp, in case you're wondering. So I just stayed. Sandstorm contacted Sandman, and he just asked if one would bring the other a liter of water. So Sandman took off, or a Sandstorm took off. And that is the reason why I'm up early. Long story, but I just I got off about a half an hour to 45 minutes early, and let's see if we can make up this 3 to 4 miles. I'm sure I don't think I'll catch them at camp, but I will most likely catch them out on the trail, taking a break. It's kind of fun though. It's kind of like, when I used to go night scuba diving. The forest is a little different. Yesterday was funny when we left in the morning, and we were walking down through a little bit of a valley, a bit of a depression, and it was quite wet, and there were frogs everywhere. I mean, just like jumping all over the trail. Little ones, like they're maybe an inch long or something like that, and they were just racing across the trail everywhere. You had to be really careful about not stepping on one. So it's kind of fun, tend to see some more things at different times of the day. The area that we've been walking through has really been kind of a jumble like this. I haven't had many views or anything, but it's just straight forest. So today we're getting really close to Crater Lake. Crater Lake's one of the big attractions on the trail. Everybody takes an alternate called the Crater Lake Rim Trail. And Crater Lake is an actual old volcano, essentially. And it has left in its wake an extremely beautiful, very, very deep, very blue lake. And this year, unfortunately, that's being threatened by fires. Really not the fire itself, but the smoke, and part of the rim trail is closed. So everybody is just constantly trying to plan for what to do, how to get where they're going. We have to get to this place called Mazama Village. Oh, look at this. Here's a trail. And then from there we have to get to Shelter Cove. And I definitely need to get to both of these places because I have resupply boxes there. So it's kind of mucking up the works, all this fire and smoke. Once we get through that, I'm not going to be able to hike to Shelter Cove because there's a different fire that's again smoking up the trail, and everybody's at this point they're planning to skip up past this trail closure, and we wind up losing about, I forget what it was, 60 to 80 miles, believe it or not. So that's really kind of unfortunate, but that's the way it is. Nobody's ever going to be able to walk this trail ever again without having to skip miles for fires, that's for sure. Anyway, there you go. There's the plan. I'm just going to keep on going and see what happens. So from day 112, see you later.